What's going on, guys? We're back for another wonderful day. It's been a great day as always. Always working, always trying to do something. Woke up at about 6 a.m. this morning. And since then, I've gone to work, got off about 5, and then I've stayed working and doing all sorts of different things. I do a lot of online stuff, did all that. It is now 11:38, so I don't even know how many hours I've been working. I'll probably get about 4 hours of sleep a night. My girlfriend, she's chilling in the bed and there sleeping, so she can't go like this, but you know, but when she wakes up, she wakes up. I'm gonna tell you that. But anyways, I'm here to talk about there seems to be a war going on. There's a war on YouTube. It is the craziest shit I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like this, and it seems to be the conservative side versus the more liberal side, and it's been going on for a while. There's been a lot of contributing factors to this, but I think the straw that broke the camel's back was the Andrew Tate guy getting suspended, and that has galvanized both sides against each other. And now all the big YouTubers that you can think of are doing videos about each other, and they're taking the commentary videos that they're doing on other people and then doing commentary on top of that. Hell, I was even thinking about doing the other day a commentary of Alpha and Preach, doing a commentary of Fresh and Fit, doing a commentary on KSI and Hassan, doing a commentary on Andrew Tate, doing a commentary on somebody I can't even remember the whole chain. So that's like 10 layers deep in commentary, right? It's getting ridiculous. It's getting out of hand. So there's a lot of people on both sides. The Hassan guy, that's the Young Turk's nephew or something. I don't like the guy. A lot of people are calling him Lasagna, putting the L in front of his name. But this guy is just preying on people's downfall, hoping people get banned. The KSI guy, he was glad people got banned. Ethan, H3H3, or L3L3, whatever you want to call them, they were glad that Andrew got banned also. And why are people so wanting people banned so bad? I mean, they can't even stand to have a voice. And then the other side, they're not happy about it, but all the people who are wanting Andrew banned that have also done a whole bunch of sketchy stuff that's like borderline on the guidelines, probably breaking the rules even more so, they're not praying for them to be banned. No, one side wants debate, one side wants commentary, and the other side don't. The other side just wants to shut you down, right? And it's these people living these alternative lifestyles versus people trying to live a more traditional lifestyle. And the alternative lifestyles, that's cool. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do. I don't care. You know, Hassan, you can do whatever sort of weird stuff you want to do. But I mean, you cannot tell me having somebody ream you up the butt with a huge penis right where you poop and let your poop just wrap around, you know, because these people got to prepare for their weird sex, right? They got to prepare and clean everything out. But what happens when you're horny in the middle of the night? You know, they ain't gonna prepare, they ain't gonna do that stuff, and then they gonna wake up. It's just you can't tell me that it's not unsanitary. There's no possible way you can tell me that, Hassan or whoever else, if somebody wants to step into the debate and tell me how sanitary it is. But I mean, this sounds like high risk behavior to me. This sounds, I don't know, this ain't even topic of the video. It's just something that's just on my heart. I don't even understand it. Like, what in the world is going on with people? Like, they want to do all sort of crazy shifting roles. I mean, I just got done watching some videos about how transgenders that had the surgery, they just cut the shit off, and now they're regretting it. They wish somebody would have told them about therapy instead of been so inclusive and so let them do whatever they want to do, because you know, in the end, that shit ain't good for them. It's not good for them at all. And then the other side, you have people, yeah, some of them's being a little overly aggressive. Sneeko, he's a character. He's a big character. I just seen him talking to the dirtiest, fattest hoe in Canada. I'm sure there's more just like her, but I mean, this girl, I don't know. She's got problems. She got last she done been with 50 guys since the last time she got tested. And she done had chlamydia in her eyes, chlamydia on her face, chlamydia everywhere else. And I think she said it was like over 10 times or something she's done had chlamydia. I mean, this lady has been out here in these streets. I wouldn't doubt that her body count ain't into 4 digits. I mean, that's a disgrace. Where's her dad at? Where's these people at? And she said her dad don't care what she's doing or know what she's doing. I mean, how are you? That tells me that the dude ain't involved in her life at all. And she said she can't even talk to guys. She's speechless. And she don't understand that from the story she's telling, all these guys that's sleeping with her is making fun of her. They're just straight making fun of her. They're dogging her. They're calling it a pig roast. And now she's calling it a pig roast. And she thinks it's some sort of term of endearment. No, it's not. They are making fun of you. And then I don't know. I don't. It's hard to even think about why somebody would want to do that to themselves. But anyways, back to the story. So, I mean, you got so many people want people canceled, and then the other side don't want it. And really what it boils down to, if you really think about what this boils down to, one side, almost all of them believe in God, and one side, almost all of them don't believe in God. And the side that wants you canceled does not believe in God, and a lot of them are taking this communistic philosophy, which is there's an oppressor, and the oppressor is, I guess, the white man. He's the one oppressing everybody. So there's the oppressor, and we got to get them out the way and start a crazier society. But communism, they're loving it because they just want to divide and conquer. I mean, that's why all this crazy crap pops up on TikTok, because TikTok wants the most divisive content to come up to the surface and divide the American public and divide any other public that it can get its hands on. Because think about this, all the stuff we have on our TikTok, it sure as hell don't show up on Chinese TikTok. The China people, they don't have this shit. The Chinese Communist government, they're not letting people do all sorts of ratchet stuff on their version of YouTube. It's all about dedicated to hard work and how you're going to glorify China and stuff like that. And then they give us all this degeneracy, and they're just sitting back laughing, and they think it's funny. They're just trying to destroy our society by any means necessary. And so you have all these people coming up, and they think that they're becoming popular, they're becoming famous. No, bitch, you're just a tool. You're a tool. They're using you. I mean, they're trying to get you to spread a horrible message and make divisiveness. I mean, that's all that they want from you. And the strangest thing is, all these people who love communism so bad, especially like the alphabet mafia, the gay people that's wanting all the communism, that thinks that this is the equality that we need. Communists, look at communist China, look at communist Russia. They fucking hate gay people. They hate gay people. So you're preaching a philosophy of people who fucking hate you. They can't stand your guts. They don't want nothing to do with, and they want to do nothing more than to use you and laugh at you. And for some reason in your mind, you just can't see it. You can't see it at all. But if you talk about two conservative views, then I mean, oh, you're a bad person, you're for toxic masculinity, all this stuff. You know, I get it. So I've thought about this tape ban, and I think it comes down to this. You know, in every rap song they talk about get money, start hating. And I feel like that's what's happened. He found a new way to push something that made a lot of money off of the back of YouTube and Meta, Facebook and Instagram, all this stuff. And it says Hustlers University, and everybody was posting and had their affiliate links at the bottom. So he's gone, and everybody who had those affiliate links, they shut them down also, because they're trying to, they got so mad at this man, they got so jealous of this man, they want to hit him where it hurts and try to take away his money. And that's what they were wanting to do. And that's what I feel like, that's what's got him banned. Not so much his words as much as the fact that they wanted him gone. So that's the way that I feel about it. I'm sure a lot of them didn't like a lot of the stuff he said, but you know, 5 minutes worth of research, a lot of the stuff people were saying is easily disprovable. Just 5 minutes. you know, and I don't agree with everything he says. I don't agree with everything nobody says. If you agree with everything everyone says, you either a mindless zombie or you're a liar, one or the other. You know, and I keep going back to the story about the angel and Joshua, and when they seen the angel, I guess he was glorious, so they bowed down to him and they said, "Who are you, for us or against us?" And the angel said, "I'm not for you nor against you, because neither side is for me. Nobody's fully on my side." And that's the way it is. Nobody's fully on my side. I don't see things eye to eye completely with nobody. Nobody's going to have something that's 100% for me. Everybody's got their own perspective and everyone has to live their own life. And you're never, ever going to fully agree with somebody. It's just not the way that it's going to be. So I'm sorry. Also, people like Fresh and Fit. There's a lot of things that I don't agree with them about. Matter of fact, I even made videos about them starting a sex cult or some crazy stuff about 6-8 months ago, something. Nobody watched it. It ain't got no views, so I mean, it ain't hurt them or anything like that. But especially what is it, Myron, and then the other one, the shorter, darker one. I mean, I'm just calling cap on him all the time. He's talking about, oh, in Barbados he had 1,000 bodies and all this stuff. I mean, that's even if you did, that's not healthy. That's not even something you should be bragging about. But I see him as always trying to make himself look better than he really is. But you know, you got to think he feels like he's under a lot of pressure from his friends, I guess. I don't know. But the other guy, I think the other guy has this shit together a little bit better. And he was actually a federal agent, which, I mean, I made a video making fun of his federal agentness also, but he does know a little bit about it, and he knows enough to know that if the government really did think that Andrew Tate was some sort of was some sort of rapist, some sort of serial rapist doing stuff that's completely illegal, then they would have did something about it by now. They're not going to let him get away with it. And they also point out, you know, it's racist to think that the Romanian government, that they're going to put up with this, that they're going to allow rapists and all this stuff to exist. Did he have a cam girl business? Yeah, but it's more to girls doing therapy for the guys. Of course, they had to get naked, but it's easier money than they probably ever made in their life. They didn't even have to talk to them. It was the guys on the keyboard. And yeah, did they take some guys' money? Yeah, but you know what? If some guy is willing to give $1 million to a girl that he's never met before in his life, that's on some cam site, well, fuck him. He don't need the $1 million. He's trying to give it away. He's meeting some cam girl from Romania, and he's over here in America or some other place, nowhere even near it, never even met the girl before, and willing to give up the money. Well, what the hell? A fool and his money are soon departed, the Bible says. And that guy, he's bound to lose it anyway. So I guess why not take it? Maybe I think a little bit weird, but people like that to do things like that, I don't really have much respect for them. So I'm not too proud of the cam business, you know. Maybe in another part of my life when I was younger, I might have done some shit like that. That sounds like some shit I would do when I was like 24, 26, which is probably the age they were when they did this stuff. So I mean, that sounds about right. But I'm not saying it's good. I don't agree with, especially now in this part of my life, I don't agree with that sort of thing. But his overall message about adversity and how he went from, this man lived in hostels and basically hostels with his mom and homeless shelters. So he went from homeless shelters from on the outside of London to being a multimillionaire, and he really has nobody to thank for it but himself and his brother. They all did it together. So, but this one topic has divided the whole internet. Of course, the internet's been divided into two sides for quite some while, but now they're getting galvanized really strong into two left and right fields. But I mean, I'm always a person who's always, I feel like, in the middle. I don't like to be too far one way. I don't like to be too far another way. But I do understand, especially in politics, in American politics, I tend to vote more conservative. I tend to be more conservative. There is and I understand that there's another side, a liberal side, but you know what makes America great? The fact that we have the two sides. If we didn't have the two sides in America, if we didn't have the Democrats and we didn't have the Republicans, then what would we have? We would probably have some sort of version of totalitarianism, authoritarianism. We'd probably have some sort of version of that. But thank God we have two parties that are diametrically opposed to each other, that are fighting to the death all the time, and it is important, it is imperative that both sides are always fighting against each other for the assured hope of democracy. But that's probably not going to last forever. That's going to last for a while, but one side after a while is probably going to overtake the other. I don't know. Or will an outside threat bring them together, and then they take on that outside threat? Who knows? Because that seems to be the determining factor of what keeps bringing Republicans and Democrats together. And then when there's no sort of external threat and there's nothing to fight, then they turn on each other and start fighting each other until the next external threat comes. And that's the cycle of the way that it's been. But if the Bible is to be believed, we're not going to have democracy forever. Everything's going to go into a one world system. Everything is going to be bad. It's probably the best now that it's ever going to be. If not, then very soon will be the climax of it. And then from that, it's going to kind of be all downhill. It's probably not going to get any better. And I was listening to, Jordan Peterson. Some people feel a certain type of way about him. I seen H3 mocking him. This guy was giving a passionate speech about, the fundamentals of life. What's the fundamental thing? And it's pain. And that causes a lot of freaking heartache, and it makes you want to die. But then there's something a little more fundamental in that, and it's love. And the guy's like kind of crying about it. I mean, I get what he was saying, but they just make fun of him outright for what he said, and they didn't like it one bit. But if you really listen to what the guy says, see, the other side, the left side is so cynical. They're so cynical. They want you banned. They want you silenced, and they want to say really, really horrible things about you. Yeah, the right says some horrible things, but a lot of times it's not even on that level. Because if the right had their way, they still wouldn't ban you. They still would let you talk. They would want open Discord. They would want you to be around as an example so other people can see it and say, yeah, I definitely don't want to be like that. We need to have that example around. We need to have you left. But for some reason, a lot of people don't feel that same way. But anyways, he said that the population right now, he's expecting a population drop. So it has gone up as high and high as it can. And now people are being taught, that America is so bad. He said there's one teacher that was telling all the students that if you love your country, then you will stop reproducing. You won't have more than one kid, and you should be lucky to even have one kid. But with that sort of philosophy going around, there's going to be less and less people. So if the next generation there's less people, then out of that, then there's less people to breed with, even more so. So then the next generation becomes less and less. So it's going to go up, and then it's going to exponentially just drop off. So can the Earth support 9 billion people? Yeah, I'm sure it probably can. But after a certain point, it's going to go up, and it's going to come back down. And he thinks that we're kind of at the limit of what it's going to be, and it's hard to disagree. I don't know. I'm not a expert on the topic. I don't know much about it, but I see both of these sides. There's a lot of people that's more in the middle. It's not just hard right, hard left. There is some people that's kind of on the inner side. Nobody's straight in the middle. I'm gonna tell you that. I like to think that sometimes I'm in the middle, but I'm not in the middle. I'm a little bit to the right. And even in when times like this, when people are getting more galvanized, I notice myself start liking people that I wouldn't normally like the fresh and fit people. I normally don't. A lot of the stuff that they say, like, I kind of clown on it, and I don't know. There's just something about those two that just strike me. I'm not their biggest fan. And DJ Academic is over there chilling with them too. but he's also on the more conservative side as well, because he sees a lot of this gang violence and stuff like that that's going on, and he's glad these people are getting locked up. These YSL people and stuff, you know, Young Thug, the people on the left side, they're so sad that he's locked up, and oh, protect black art and all this stuff. This man is tied to 50 murders, over 50 murders, and one of them is a cop. They even got him renting a car in which a murder was done in, and the person that was with him when he rented the car just ratted him out as well. So Young Thug is probably not getting out of jail anytime soon, and normally I wouldn't be happy about people going to jail, but you know, when you're tied to over 50 murders, you know, you probably should sit in there until it gets sorted out. So when it gets sorted out, you know, if your name's clear, stuff like that, then good. Then you can do a counter civil suit and make you a few $1 million. I'm sure you spent a year of your life that you didn't think you should be locked up. But, you know, that's kind of how it goes. But the way it's looking is that he really did this shit. He really is about this life. He thought himself to be a ball. I knew I didn't like him after they shot at Lil Wayne's tour bus. Because Lil Wayne, I mean, I think everybody can agree. Everybody likes Lil Wayne. He's brought white people and black people together. He's brought culture together. I mean, he's had some dirty lyrics and stuff, but all in all, I feel like he's been a good in a lot of ways compared to what it could have been. You know, he was part of Birdman and the big system and everything like that. But we seen while he was away, Birdman gave some money to this Young Thug guy, and we've seen the terror that can be raised with it, with just simply giving this man a bunch of money and influence. And so now you got a bunch of kids looking up to him, wanting to be like a Young Slime Life, all that stuff. And I'm in South Carolina. I ain't far away from Georgia, so if you want to come fucking murder me for my words, you're more than welcome to. Because I don't believe in this stuff. I don't think it's cool. I think gangs are a mixture of two things. They're, number one, they're a multi-level marketing scheme for drugs. It is what it is, right? It's a multi-level marketing scheme for drugs, but it's the best one because you have a product that's going to sell itself. You don't got to sit there and push whatever product you're selling, essential oils and stuff, and try to convince people why it's good. No, the people buying the product, they already want the product. So you have a multi-level marketing scheme, and everybody's getting it at a different price. And the way to make more money is to get more people hooked on it. And to get more people selling it. That's the way multi-level marketing schemes work. So that's what it is. And number two, it is a cult for poor people. And it is that's affecting mostly the black community. It's a cult that's affecting the black community. I mean, that's what it is. You got some guy in Romania, and they're all following, you know, some Jesus wannabe, and they're all giving them his wives and doing all this crazy stuff. And yeah, that's about as explainable as what all these kids in the street are doing, just sitting here killing the shit out of each other. And the majority of it is black on black crime. It's black on black crime. I mean, they're just killing the shit out of each other. There's some fear of, especially in South Carolina, there's some fear of home invasion. There is some racism on both sides of the scale. I know there is. It's not as bad as it used to be, especially Black Bike Week. I mean, it used to be really bad. And then the White Bike Week, I mean, it was just two different worlds. But a lot of people, especially in the Black Bike Week, as they would call it, I don't even think they call it that now, but they used to. But it was more sport bikes versus Harleys. And now the last bike week I seen like that, they weren't really riding the crotch rockets. They were riding the like the Road Kings and stuff like that. The more wider vehicles, the wide glides, and the baggers with the speakers and stuff on it. You know, the style has changed. But when it was the other thing when I was a kid, I tell you what, I remember I was driving down the boulevard one day. I wasn't driving, I was in the passenger seat. I was with my little cousin Chase. He was driving, and I was looking, and a lot of people, we were actually brave to be out there because we were the only white people that we seen, and a lot of times that's a no-no, right? But we was a kid, and we didn't really think about our safety. We didn't think anybody would be hurt. I seen one other white person there, and that was this kid I went to school with, Corey. Went to elementary school with this kid, and I ain't seen him for years and years and years. But I seen him, and I automatically recommend him, or excuse me, I automatically recognized him. and he recognized me. And I said, Corey, and he said, John, and then we drove off, right? About an hour later, I heard on the news that he went back to his vehicle, because he was walking. We was in a vehicle. We're not getting out and walking at that time. And he asked somebody about the parking space that he was in. They shot him in the face. They shot him multiple times, as far as I know. I mean, you can find the story. I don't remember his last name. But what they did next was they did burnouts over his dead body. And a lot of them would, and that kind of traumatized me, because I was like, what? The only other white person I seen out there, aside from us in the vehicle, the only one walking, they fucking killed him. They killed him. Like, that's some savage shit, right? And a lot of the people who worked at the hotels, they would tell me stories about, they would throw beer bottles off the balconies on people. They would piss on people off the balconies. On the side of the road, you'd see them on the side of the road turned around having sex on their bikes on the side of the road. The other bike week comes and you don't really see much like that. I mean, you see a little bit of stuff, but nothing to that degree. And I mean, it was just haunting as a child. It makes you afraid. And I mean, I'm not, if I'm lying, I'm dying. If I'm lying, I'm dying. So yeah, but it was a lot of people that weren't from here that came here and made hell of the town. And there's a lot of gangs that's from in South Carolina, like Dillon area or further in. Like, there just was a couple people shot on the boulevard and different things, and it was different gang members from Dillon and the areas. They found each other down here and they started shooting at each other and hurting each other. I mean, it's freaking crazy. So yeah, was there kind of some fear towards black people? Yeah, down here there definitely was, but a lot of it was within good reason, because you wanted safety, you wanted to live. And now in the opposite, I mean, there's a lot of black people that feared for white people in the same way. And I mean, I completely get it. I don't know about as many stories about that. I'm sure somebody can enlighten me. So, but I know it was on both sides of the scale. But anyways, I'm saying that so I can say this. Now, these past few years, it's been a lot better. There hasn't been none of that. There hasn't been people pissing off the balconies and turning around having sex on their bike and fucking murdering people and all this stuff. There hasn't been that. I mean, it's been a lot more peaceful. And I grew up with black people in school, and I had a completely different experience than my dad did. I mean, you always know that there's rules. There's always that underlying tension. But my dad had a different experience. There was a Conway Middle and there was Whittemore Park Middle, and he was one of the first people to integrate. So some of the black kids had to go to the all-white school, and those black kids that went to the all-white school, they were treated very badly. But some of the white kids that had to go to the all-black school, those kids went to the all-black school and they were treated very badly. Well, my dad, he was one of the first ones. And he had to integrate over there, and he said it was a fight for his life every day. That he had to fight all the time, right? But this never made the man racist. Never made him racist. One of his best friends is like a black Jamaican guy. I mean, you can have bad experiences. I mean, I've been pistol whipped over the head by somebody, like that. But they did it with a white person. It was the white person that drew me out, and then there was the black guy that hit me. So I mean, I don't even know how to call that, but I had like $60 in my pocket, and while I was passed out, they took the $60 out of my pocket, and they was pissed off. I was over here chilling with some girls, and they couldn't be. And like, I came through. I was kind of flashy at that time. I was doing a lot of stuff I wasn't supposed to do, and I was kind of proud of it and trying to show my success. But I mean, that felt like a whole nother lifetime ago. I was in my early 20s when all this stuff happened. I'm about to be 36. So all this feels like another lifetime. I feel like my head still hurts from it. I actually, because of that incident, I couldn't really, I don't know. I just didn't have my balance and stuff right, and I actually went into a ditch trying to avoid hitting a car like a couple days later in a Tahoe, and that crap sucked. I was sideways in the ditch, but I was on the driver's side, and the passenger side was on the ground, and so, but I had my seatbelt on, so I was still stuck in the air. But the moment I took my seatbelt off, bam! I hit the other side, And so I try to crawl back up, grab the steering wheel, go up and open the door, and it was like opening a tank hatch, and it was just heavy. So I got the thing open, and other people ran to me and they went to help me. And as I'm trying to get out, they're supposed to be holding the door, and no, the shit falls back, hits me in the head. That hurt worse than the wreck did, and it knocked me all the way back down to the bottom of the car, to the bottom of the vehicle, and then I had to climb back out again, but this time with my head hurting really bad. So I mean, I've had some crazy experiences, and yeah, I mean, is there some racism that? Yeah, there still is. I have a job now to where I give people jobs, and I'm very polite to people. I say yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, and I'm very considerate towards people, and I don't ever lose my cool with anybody ever. I stay as professional as possible. And I sent this guy to this hotel, and I got the messages. Maybe I'll bring out the messages one day, because this lady screenshots the messages after he's been there for a couple weeks, and she asks him about something, and he's been sitting in the car for a while and comes back in smelling like weed and stuff, and they're trying to be so nice to this guy, and then he starts cussing the lady out in text, and mind you, this is a lady. She said nothing bad to him, and he starts calling her every name in the book. Well, not every name, but I mean, I'll show the text here one day. But he says all this stuff to the lady. So I start texting him. I'm like, yo, why are you talking to women like that? And then he starts cussing me out, and I'm like, yeah, I've done nothing but try to be nice to you, get you a job. And he's like, man, you call this helping me? This job's only paying this, and blah blah blah. You're not the only person that can help me. I'm like, I'm not saying I can. Okay, all right. Well, God bless. You have a wonderful day. Just I can't work with you anymore. I mean, I can't hire people that's gonna act like that. I just can't do it. And so the guy hits me back up about a week later, asked me if hey, do I have another check coming? And which he knows he don't. I mean, he's already got paid for the last time that he was there. He should already know, unless he's paying that little attention, which I feel like he might be. And I told him, no sir, you've done been paid for the last one. Very, very nice to him. And then he writes me back the next day, and he's like, bitch ass cracker. So I mean, he says a lot of stuff. I mean, if I say something like that to people in the other on the other side, if I say something racist like that, I mean, it's people's gonna want that to be my ass. Well, I have no business saying something like that, but they can say it. You know, it's not quite fair, but I don't hold it against people, because most people don't do that. Well, I also had somebody that was this black lady that was very, very mad at me. I was going to look at her paperwork, and I normally have Samantha, my assistant. My assistant normally looks at the paperwork, but she was already in there with somebody, so I figured I would save this girl some time, and I would just come out and look for it in a second and just go a little above and beyond. And I asked this lady to see her paperwork, and then there's some things that weren't signed and stuff, and then she was trying to like fight me over it, you know, just like, oh, I ain't signing this, blah blah. I'm like, well, you know, this is the paperwork that we have to sign to get you a job. And then she was blah blah, why you treating me like this? And I'm being as nice as can be. And she says that I was mean to her last time 2 years ago, and I don't remember this lady. And plus, she was wearing a mask, so I mean, I really didn't. She's a small, younger lady, but I mean, she was really angry. And she said, and then she started yelling, almost looked like she was crying, saying, "Last time I sent her to somewhere that beat her with a stick, where people were beating her with sticks." And my first thought is I would never send somebody somewhere where you're gonna get beat with sticks. Like, what the hell kind of shit is that? I've never even heard of such. If that happened to somebody, I feel like I would have known about it. I feel like somebody would have told me, but nobody. That's the first I heard of it there. And then you know, she starts cussing me out and all this stuff, and she's like, F you, I'm just gonna have her look at it. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. That is my assistant, right? She's not gonna give you a job if I'm not giving you a job. Because at that point, you know, somebody that can't control their emotions like that, I can't send them to my client to make my client feel that same way. There's no way I can do that. That just wouldn't be a responsible thing to do. no matter who the person is, no matter the race, sex, anything. I mean, you just have to control yourself, and you can't act like that at all. And so she still stays there and waits, and I'm like, okay. And then Samantha gets done with the other lady, and I said, hey, Samantha, I done told this young lady I'm not going to hire her, but she would like you to look over her paperwork. If you could please look over her paperwork, that would be great. Because if I didn't tell her to do that, then Samantha wouldn't even have looked at the paperwork. So I was just telling her, just go ahead and look at it, make the girl happy. Okay. Well, about that time, the lady picked up all the papers in the hallway, came in the room, and now I have another girl in there with me, and she comes throwing all the paper at me, trying to throw a bunch of stuff at me, and everything goes like whizzing by my head, and everything misses me. I thought that was kind of crazy, but that's beside the point. But it's just a lot of people that can't control their anger. There's a lot of people that's like mad at white people. I mean, I'm serious. But there's a lot of white people that don't treat black people good as well. Especially in the older generation, a lot of the older white people down here, they don't treat people the way that they should be treated, and they say things behind people's back, and it's not very nice. It's not nice at all. But as far as, you know, racism and prejudice, I think it still exists in South Carolina, but it's nowhere near as bad. Even though I'm having some bad experiences, I understand that I'm in a different position now than I was back then, and I have to deal with a lot of people. So the fact that this is gonna happen, and don't get me, I've had white people do some messed up shit to me. I've had them try to I had this one white guy. He tried to collect pay for being in jail for 3 days. He wrote on his time card that he was there, and I'll look into jail in the bookings and releases every day, and I knew he was in there, but he didn't know that I knew that. So he wrote on his time card. And I'm like, well, what is this? Are you sure you worked that time? Because I didn't tell him yet. I'm just like, are you sure? And I'm like, I want you to think about it really hard. Are you sure that you worked this time? And he said, oh yeah. I'm like, well, that's hard to believe, because you went into jail this time on this day, and you came out of jail this time 2 days later. And then he's like, oh well, I just overlooked. I forgot about that. You know, that's not something you're going to forget about, because it wasn't but the week prior. So you're not going to forget about that. But I get young people treating me crappy all the time. They deny responsibility. You know, you give them a job and they say they want it, and then they don't show up. And there's this one guy, he couldn't pass the background. He had some violent stuff on his record, but I finally found something that he can do. And then he tells me, oh, God is good. God is good. Thank you so much. He goes for a day, and then the next day he's gone. He quits. And it's a lot of that. It's a lot of people not accepting responsibility. They're trying to get mad at somebody else. They won't show up. There's some people that won't show up to something, and they'll call you 100 times. They'll literally call you 100 times and beg you to be put on something else. Say they won't do it again. You put them on something else, they go and do it right again. They go and do it again. It's crazy. But I mean, I love dealing with people. I love what I do. I love giving people jobs. I feel like I'm good at it. I have clients that we work with that really believe in us. They believe in our mission and what we're doing, and they feel that I can give them the quality people that they need, and that's what I intend to do. I want to put people to work. Some people come to us and they act like, you know, we're the unemployment office. I've had that before, saying that I have to give them a job and all this stuff. And I let them know, no, my job is connect our best workers with our clients. I mean, that's my job. And if you're not going to do what you're supposed to, if we done gave you chance after chance and you're still not working out, I mean, maybe come back in a year or so and we'll try something again. I don't hold grudges, and I'm going to try to help you out the best I can. But I mean, I can't put the job. Okay. So if I send somebody to work repeatedly to these companies, and they just doing all sorts of crazy stuff, showing up to work drunk and just not showing up at all, doing all this crazy stuff. If I do that, then I'm going to lose that client. And if I lose that client, then you not only lost a job for yourself, you lost a job for a lot of other people in the future. There's a lot of other future people that's not going to have a job now because of you. And so I got to think about that. And sometimes I got to get rid of one to save 20, because I want to make sure everybody else gets jobs. And I would be completely irresponsible if I was to let you lose that for them. It's happened before. I've seen it happen before, especially whenever I first got in the job, and the people that were in my job beforehand. And I came in as an intern at one point, and I seen what the guy did before me, and some of the stuff, it wasn't pretty. There's one place in particular I clearly remember them losing, because they sent somebody to work, and the guy would go down there and clock in at nighttime, go to his car, go to sleep, and then come back in and clock out. Try to get paid for that time while he's sleeping in his car. For what reason, I don't know, but it lost the whole account, and that was tons of people who never got an opportunity to work. But we ended up getting that company back, and I'm very thankful for it. I'm very thankful for our clients and what we do. Even the people who treat me bad, I'm going to tell you this, I just want to pray for them. I really, really, sincerely wish success on their life. I hope that they get their stuff together. I hope that they become better people. And I hope that they take responsibility for their actions, because I want them to be happy. And I know that the only way to become happy is through responsibility. It's through having a type of power in your life. And that only comes from consistently trying to do the right thing and making the right moves and being an honorable person. So that's what I want for everyone. I want success for everybody. I try to be a Christian, but I feel like this title is not something you give to yourself. It's something more that's observed, and it's something more. I can call myself a Christian all day long, but if everybody watching or everybody that I interact with, they don't think so, then what's it matter what I call myself? Because the people around me don't respect me or respect the title. It's not something you can self-identify as. Let's put it like that. But I'm not gonna say I don't try, and I'm not gonna say I don't have my flaws, because I do. I have a lot of them. But at the end of the day, we all got our flaws, and we're all on this planet, and we're not here for very long. A lot of people have not realized that yet, and that's another difference between the left and the right. A lot of the right understands that time is limited. We're only here for a while. A lot of people on the left, they either don't care or just don't acknowledge. They don't want to think about it. They're the feels good, do it crowd. If it feels good, do it, and do it right now. And who cares? If you do something wrong, you're not going to go to hell, because there is no God, and there's going to be no consequences, and you're just going to die anyway. So who cares? And if you really think about it, it's kind of a bad philosophy to live by. And people are actually better when they think that there's a God, when they think that there's some sort of judgment for their behavior. They live better ways. I'm not going to say certain Christian organizations like the Catholic Church and different things at different periods of time didn't do an immense amount of damage, and they really did. But I think that was more of an issue of when the state takes over the church. When the church and the state come together, and the state takes over the church and pretends to be the church. And then the real church at that time, to me, was the Protestant church, while the Catholic Church was running around killing all the Protestants. It's crazy. History is full of craziness. Read the Fox's Book of Martyrs. I've probably read it about 3 times in my life. I last read it probably about 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago. And it might be about time to read that book again. That's a pretty intense book, but you got to be in the right mindset, because it's going to make you focus on a lot of issues. Anyways, I've rambled enough. Love you guys. There's a war going on. Don't be too concerned. Just continue to try to do the right thing, no matter what side you're on. If you're on the left or on the right, the best thing that you can do is just do what is right, whatever you think right is. And be open to the possibility that there might also be some right that exists that you don't know about, because the odds of you knowing everything is very, 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 very slim. It's impossibly slim. So I already know that I don't know everything, and I hope that everyone else has that same opinion. We can all learn from each other, and we need to have positive discourse. We need to be able to talk to each other. But anyways, I'm about to make a thumbnail for this video, and I'm about to put it online for all of 6 people to watch, because no one ever watches these, and I don't blame them. I'm new to doing this, and I'm not really editing. I don't have a lot of time. Matter of fact, I need to get into streaming, because that's essentially what I'm doing, is streaming without streaming. So I'm about to take this down. It is 12:23 at night. I've been working all day since 6 a.m. and I'm trying to get to bed by 1 so that I can wake up and do it all over again. All right, well, everyone, have a blessed day. And remember, don't forget to be good on your way to becoming great.